Today's video is a winter try-on and review of pieces from Sezane, and we're talking the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some of these pieces I absolutely love and were amazing. I highly recommend. Others were just middle of the road, and then there are some pieces that you should absolutely avoid. Hi, and welcome to my channel. I'm McKay. I make videos about small wardrobing and practical style tips. Now let's get into the review. Starting with the Maha Jumper, which retails for $125. This comes in black, brown, beige, and ecru. This is the ultimate everyday basic, and it's stunning. Everything about it is just elevated and feminine, from the fitted silhouette to the crochet neckline and the sweetheart neckline. It's so beautiful. The composition is 43% merino wool, 39% cotton, and 2% elastane, which is pretty good. And because it's cotton and merino wool, it's going to be incredibly breathable and comfortable. The fabric has a nice smooth feel. Because of the composition, it's not especially like fuzzy or soft, but it's very smooth and comfortable. Depending on what climate you live in, of course, I think that for most people this would work for fall, winter, or spring. So this would be a really great basic to have in your closet. It's constructed really nicely as well. I don't see any flaws in it. So do I think it's worth $125? Absolutely, I do. It's absolutely worth the price between the construction, the fiber content, and the design. It's a really great piece that would last in your wardrobe for a long time, and it has a lot of versatility and practicality to it. Highly recommend this one. Moving on to the Suzanne Jumper, which is $150, and it comes in black and ecru. The composition is 33% kid mohair, 33% merino wool, 28% polyamide, and 6% elastane. So that means that it's 66% natural fibers and the rest of it's synthetic. The design is incredibly feminine and unique, which is what drew me to this. I feel like it's so different from everything else that I'm seeing right now, so I just wanted to give it a try. But in hindsight, there are a lot of drawbacks that I hadn't noticed when I was looking at this site that really make me reconsider this. The first drawback we need to talk about is the fiber content. This has a lot of synthetics in it, and more than I think are reasonable. While the fabric is very soft and fuzzy and fluffy, it doesn't look quite right, and it doesn't look natural. I wouldn't say that the finish is like shiny by any means, but it does have a very subtle, almost reflective quality to it that just doesn't look quite right to me. The other thing is that kid mohair is known for being very itchy to a lot of people. I had never tried it before and was a bit curious, which is part of the reason why I ordered this. And I can say that it definitely is itchy. The thing I hadn't taken into consideration is that because this is so fitted, it's going to be directly on your skin, and there isn't really a good way to have any sort of barrier underneath it. There are a lot of sweaters where you could wear a t-shirt or a cami underneath, but you just couldn't do it with this because of the deep V. It's quite a deep V. It's a bit deeper than I had realized. I just wasn't really paying attention when I ordered it. But the challenge there is that you can't wear anything underneath it. You can't wear a cami. It's gonna show and it's gonna look really weird. So because of the design, there really is no way to have a layer between your skin and the fabric, and it's gonna be itchy. The other thing is that it's gonna shed. I noticed this immediately when I was unboxing this on my white quilt, is that I noticed these fuzzy little black fibers all over the place. So that's another downside. However, the biggest issue is this just doesn't feel practical. The design feels very warm weather to me with the deep V and the cropped fit. This feels like it should be made in a lighter weight material and for a warmer season. But for whatever reason, they went with a fabric that leans very warm and would typically be associated with cooler seasons. So I don't know when you could actually practically wear this, especially knowing that you really can't do much layering. It feels like they needed to make this design in a lighter weight fabric, or they needed to keep the fabric and go with something more boxy and oversized. If you can't tell, I'm not impressed with this. I don't think it's worth your money. This is a pass. Next up is the Suzanne Jumper. This is $180 and it comes in ecru navy. I originally had my eye on the James Jumper, which I know is very popular, but it was sold out at the time, so I ended up going with the Suzanne Jumper instead. The composition is 40% cotton, 40% wool, and 20% polyamide. Overall, I do really like this design. It feels very classic, but with a little bit of a twist, and it feels a bit more modern and interesting than just a plain striped sweater. I love the cable knit, and the stripes look just a little bit different. The craftsmanship is pretty good on this. The stripes line up, everything looks right for the most part, and it has a nice oversized fit. I love the details here, from the tortoiseshell buttons to the cable knit, so overall the design is really good. However, there are some downsides to the Suzanne Jumper as well. The first thing is the price point in the composition. Like I said, the composition includes 20% polyamide, and this retails for $180. Versus a very similar design, which is the James Jumper, which is 100% merino wool and costs $170. I don't know why they put polyamide in this, but it really drives me insane. There's no reason for them to add polyamide to this. You can like already see my blood is boiling. And for this to cost more than their 100% merino wool version makes no sense to me. It's not like an egregious amount of synthetics, but for them to be selling cotton sweaters and merino wool sweaters for the same price, if not lower, is crazy to me. So do with that what you will. The other issue I have is with the construction itself. So where the buttons are, it's like that strip of fabric. It should be totally straight up and down. There shouldn't be any lumps or bumps, but there are. And you can see that between every button, the fabric kind of goes in like this. It like makes this curved shape, and that shouldn't be happening, especially at this price point. I don't think that's an acceptable level of quality. And yes, the design itself looks nice in theory, and I love the way that it looks. It feels a little bit more unique and more playful to me. I want to add that the neckline fits a little bit higher than I was expecting. It's a little bit snug. It is on the smaller side, and it does go up onto the neck. So my collarbone for reference is right here, and I would typically expect this to fit like in this area, but it actually goes up a little bit higher. So that may or may not bother you. Just wanted to throw that out there. I didn't mention it earlier. So the neck is a little bit on the smaller side, and it does go up a little bit. It's a little bit snug for my preference, but to each their own. Do I think this is the worst sweater in the world? No, obviously not. There are much, much worse, but I certainly don't think it's the best, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it. So unless you are just dying for this design and you want to take a chance on the quality, I would get something else. So that was the Suzanne Jumper. Moving on to a piece that I love and actually really blew me away, and that's the rim shirt. This is $130. It comes in black, ecru, blue, and rosewood. I got the white version, or ecru version, excuse me, and it's 100% cotton. This shirt is dripping in femininity. It is so, so beautiful. I just can't get over it. I love the gathered high collar and all of the details throughout. It's just incredible. This is very feminine, between the mother of pearl buttons to just insane detail throughout and really beautiful craftsmanship. It is on the sheer side, so you're gonna wanna wear a nude bra with this. I think you could get away with that just fine. If you wanna wear this in more of a work environment or something like that, you could absolutely just get away with a nude cami underneath and it would be totally fine. While it is very lightweight and is a bit more warm season appropriate, I think you could get a lot of versatility out of this depending on your lifestyle. If you go into the office a lot or have nicer events, this could be a really great staple to have. This top feels very justified in the cost. I think it's actually the lowest priced thing on this list. And between the really unique design and the intricate details and the craftsmanship, it's totally worth it. I highly, highly recommend it. For the last piece, we have the Laure Skirt, which is $135 and comes in several colors. I was drawn to the houndstooth, so that's the one that I got, but there are a lot of other colorways to choose from. The fiber content is 75% wool, 25% polyamide, and 5% other, whatever that means. I would have liked to see a bit more natural fibers in this. It's only 70% natural and it's 30% synthetic, which feels a bit high to me. Let's talk about the design, because the design is really good. I think this is going to be flattering for a lot of people. It's a nice length. It's not super short. I think that you could wear it to a lot of different occasions. It's a faux wrap skirt, but it looks really good. It has like a full front panel on it and a really nice sturdy button. It has a zipper on the side, which is very subtle. They did a good job hiding it. Overall, it just looks really good. Quality-wise, it is done pretty well. It has a YKK zipper, so it's going to be very durable. The zipper is hidden nicely, and the stitching looks really good. However, and I hate to say this because I really feel like the Grinch today, a lot of people aren't going to love this, and this is not going to work for a lot of people. I got this in a size 4, and while it does fit my hips, there's a lot of gaping at the waist. If you're someone who proportionally has a smaller waist and wider hips, this is not going to be a good fit for you. This is going to be a lot better if you have more of a straight figure. This could work really, really well for you, but it's not going to be good if you have a smaller waist and wider hips. That's for sure. There's just so much extra fabric. The only way I'd be able to get away with this is wearing it as more of like a low rise to midi rise, which is not the look I'm going for. And if I wear this at my natural waist, it becomes quite short. So this is not for me. I think this is also going to be great if you have more of a short to normal length torso. If you have a long torso, this could give you problems. That's not unique to this skirt though. I think that's more of like a mini skirt issue in general, is them being too short, and anyways, whatever. The other thing is that this is 70% wool, which can get very scratchy if it's directly on your skin. There is a lining to this, but it doesn't go all the way to the bottom. There's probably like 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch that's exposed, which might not seem like a lot, but you're gonna feel it as you walk. And if you're more sensitive to fabrics, that could get really irritating and annoying really fast. It could be easily solvable with tights or something like that, but I wish that the lining went all the way down. And I know that they could have done that because it does go all the way to the top. There's hardly any gap at the top, so I don't know why they didn't go down all the way. At the end of the day, I think you're gonna either love or hate the Laure Skirt depending on your proportions and if you're sensitive to wool. So those were the pieces. Overall, it was kind of a bummer and I was pretty underwhelmed. So it was really a mixed bag. There were a couple of things that I loved that were high quality that I do recommend, but it felt like a lot of it was also very average, middle of the road, or just straight up things that I wouldn't recommend. I think this really illustrates how more and more people have been talking about how there's been a decline in quality with Sezane. Between introducing more synthetics and having a lot more drops and launches, it just kind of seems like they've forgotten who they are as a brand, where they used to be so focused on slow fashion and high quality, things that would be durable and would last for years to come. And it just shows that you really have to be careful and pay attention to what you're ordering. You have to check the fiber content because while some of it is really great still, a lot more pieces are having synthetics and higher amounts of synthetics, or there are just construction issues or things that don't make sense from a practicality standpoint. Anyway, let me know what else you want to see or if there's any other brands that you're interested in. And with that, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.